Hello everyone, welcome to episode 22 of the Backstage Knits podcast. My name is Catherine. You can find me on Ravelry as Backstage Cat Knits. There's also a Ravelry group for the podcast, which you can get to by searching Backstage Knits Podcast. I'm also on Instagram as Backstage Cath. Today is Tuesday, November 22nd, 2016, and I'm coming at you from my apartment in beautiful downtown Hartford, Connecticut. I apologize for the delay between episodes here. I actually recorded a version of this a couple weeks back, but just life happened and it didn't get uploaded. So it was a quick one though, and actually rambling and presentation-wise is probably better for all of us that one didn't get uploaded and that you get my best self today. First things first, I have a giveaway winner to announce. This giveaway ended almost a month ago now on Halloween, and I'm really sorry for not posting an episode sooner, but I did a random number generator this morning, and 2 through 6, and came up with number 3, who is Debbie, who I actually know in real life. So, Debbie, congratulations on your giveaway prize. I'll wrap it all up nice and try to connect with you at Knitting Group to give you your prize. I think that is it for, organizational, administrative things. I will say that I haven't really caught up with people's podcasts in a long time, and I apologize. So if you said something to me, didn't see it, I'm sorry. I don't think really anyone did, but just in case, it's my apology. I will get around to watching them. I usually kind of binge watch podcasts. Actually, I don't really often watch them weekly. I'll create a playlist and just fill it with all the podcasts that I want to watch that I haven't seen, and over the course of a weekend get through as many as I can. So I do really enjoy watching knitting podcasts, but just sometimes I need something totally mindless, and that's been my life the past even month or so has been just nuts. So all that being said, I've got a lot of knitting to talk about. In October, I got so much knitting done. I have 4 finished objects to talk to you about today. So that's super exciting for me, although it means that because I got so many things off the needles, I actually don't really have much to show on the needles. But I've got a good amount of acquisitions to chat about, as I often do. Although I've been much better lately. I have been trying to stay to a relative yarn diet, and I've been doing alright. With the holidays coming up, yarn diet. So, not been perfect, certainly, but, yeah. So this is one of my acquisitions. Let me just talk about this adorable mug. It's got a stockinette stitch on it. And it came with, well, it didn't come with. They also sell, there's got tea on this. I don't want to, but there's the little, I don't want to tip it too much because there's a little bit of liquid in it from my tea bag, but they also sell the little tea holders. I got this at Webb's the last time I was up there in Northampton, Mass. So they might sell them on their website. I don't remember the name of the designer or brand or anything, but they have garter stitch versions in a couple of different colors, and I love it. It's so adorable. This has become my consistent mug now. It's awesome. I'm drinking David's tea, the Palm Diggity flavor, which is amazing. Anyway, alright, 5 minutes into it, haven't talked about knitting at all. So let's get started, shall we? Finished objects. We'll start here, because this one you've seen before. These are my Scatterbee socks by Amy Stringer. I made this out of Pepolo Fields standard sock in their surprise party colorway. And I really, really love how these socks turn out. I've talked about them, I think, 3 or 4 times now, so nothing too different there. But I was a little bit unsure about the pattern when I first started knitting it, but the end result is just absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really happy I stuck with it. These are socks from my mom, so they're a little bit long. She's a size 10. These will be her Christmas gift. So it came out great, and I had her try one on once I finished it, and they fit her really well. So I finished these in October. All the finished objects I'll show are kind of old finished objects. I finished them in October. But yeah, there you go. I really think it's interesting how these do kind of look, they're clearly the same yarn, but this one has a lot more like, actually, oh yeah, I guess it was true on that side as well. But a lot more bright colored saturation and is kind of almost doing some stripey things, and this one's a lot lighter and just more variegated. I just think that's so cool how like yarn from the same skein can look so different just based on where it is in the skein, how much dye it got, what your gauge was, all those things like make such a big difference. And I think that's really cool because two people can, you know, like even if someone else knit this exact pattern, the exact number of stitches with the exact same yarn, it would be a different skein and it would look different. And that's a really cool thing for me. So if you give me a few seconds to reorganize here, I will show my second finished object. That's socks. These are things that you have seen before, although it had been a while. So I had opportunity to spend a lot of time with my mom's family recently, and now I'm making everyone socks for Christmas. By everyone, I really mean my mom and her two sisters, and perhaps the sisters' spouses as well, if I have time for it, which is looking a little unlikely, but we'll see. So I finished, you recognize these, let's stop talking, Catherine, as my Slippery Berry socks. I started these like over the summer, I want to say, and decided that they would actually make great socks for my aunt, who loves purple. They're a little bit kooky like she is, and so these are for my aunt. And this pattern is kind of my own design. Let me see if not kind of, it is. And I'm not in love with it. I would have done something differently, but it was one of those things that I was kind of so far into it that I didn't really want to stop. So it's kind of just like a slip stitch pattern. It actually looks pretty good here on this. I think, I don't know, I just was overly critical. It also took a really long time. I did these two at a time, and the rows just took forever. So the yarns that are in this are, the blue is Plymouth Yarns Happy Feet Splash in the blueberry colorway, and then the heels, toes, and very, very tiny cuff, I wanted these to be ankle socks for her, are yarns to inspire Wonder. They're Wonder base, and actually a colorway I dyed myself when I won a dyeing workshop with the owner of that yarn company in a giveaway, and I'm calling the colorway Dollar Princess after an orchid that I found. So there are those. I've just got one more pair of socks that I have to get done before Christmas, and then the spouses can be later. So you'll see my very, very beginnings of that a little later on. Okay, and then I have two hats that I finished. I think I said this already, but I finished 7 projects in October. It was amazing. 2 that I started in October, but both hats I've started in that month, but everything else was from previous months that I started, so get things off the needles, it's awesome. So, I don't think you've seen this before, because I was looking at my, the episode I recorded last time, and I showed this as a work in progress. I can't remember if I also talked about it in episode 21, but anyway, this is actually a hat of yarn that I spun myself. You might remember I talked about this. It was the Gypsy colorway from Spun Right Round. It's a merino and BFL blend. The kind of brownish grayish is the BFL, and all the colors are merino. And it looks awesome. I spun it to kind of a bulky weight average. I'm not a very good spinner yet. But like I love how it looks. I've since seen like there's different ways you can get stripes and stuff, and I think I probably could have like done something really cool with how I spun up that braid, but I wasn't really aware of that, so I just kind of spun it randomly, and so you see like some chunks have no BFL, and some chunks are kind of mostly BFL, but I love how it turned out. It got a little bit stripey. And then again, when I applied it, I wasn't even paying attention, so I think it looks really awesome. Like, I'm really proud of myself for this to have spun the whole skein and to make it into a hat. I didn't really use a pattern. I just cast on 72 stitches and kind of decreased, similar to how my cabled hat, just the construction of it, obviously with no pattern, because I didn't know how any sort of pattern would look with hand spun. I just kind of wanted to show off it. And it's actually relatively, I thought it might be a little loose in places, but it actually is relatively tight. I forget what size needles I used. I think I put it on a pattern page for this project. If I remember, I used the same size for my Lopi hat on the brim, and then instead of going down, like the Lopi hat had you go down 2 US sizes, I think I only went down 1 for the main body, but don't quote me on that, and I forgot to write it down. So, but yeah, hand spun hat, it's awesome, it's very, very warm. I've worn it a couple times to work already, even though it hasn't been that cold of a winter yet. So we'll see once it gets to real Connecticut winter and I have to walk to work. This will be getting a lot of use. And then, I just mentioned that I'd spent a lot of time with my mom's family. There's a death in the family, and so we all got together. And my mom's cousin? No. It's my mom's father's first cousin's daughter. So my mom's second cousin. The two of them have stayed close throughout their lives, and her mom, so I guess my grandfather's cousin, I just started there, passed away a few years back, and so the mom had a lot of yarn, and so I was talking to the cousin and happened to be knitting, or we talked about knitting, and she brought me a bunch of yarn that her mom had. And it's a bunch of random stuff, and I haven't even gone through it yet, but I got it, and I just grabbed one thing off the pile, and it was this half-finished hat, and with a pattern from the Green Mountain Spinnery, which, spoiler alert, I went to, which was really cool, and it was half-finished. It was about here, where this impromptu stitch marker is, because I wanted to kind of keep track of where I started, and so I just finished it off. It's in Plymouth Yarns, like Canadian colors. I have it over there, I forgot to bring it over, but it's just a slouchy hat. And it was really cool to like be connected to the past like that. And I'm going to send it over today to my mom's cousin, and just, it was really cool to just be a part of that and connected to her and connected to the family. Really awesome, just that connection. And actually, I really like the slouchy hat. I might make another one for myself now that I have the pattern. I believe this is worsted weight yarn. It's washing out a little bit on my screen right now. Like, it's looking a little less green than it does in real life, but so super cool. This person has the tightest 1x1 rib I've ever seen. Look at that. It almost doesn't even look like ribbing, it's so tight. So anyway, finished the yarn with a not appreciable change in gauge. You can tell a little bit about where I've changed, but it's not super obvious or makes the hat super unwearable. So there is that. Those are my 4 finished objects. I got a lot of projects off the needles, but that makes it so, I said this already right now, but anyway, I don't have a lot of works in progress. Life has been nuts, with things going on in the world, and I got in a car accident, and I was studying for a test, and I've had time to knit, and I've done knitting, but I've not been in the mood for anything complicated. So my first work in progress is my sock yarn blanket, which you haven't seen in a while, but is now a full-on square with one little thing that I just started this morning. But so yeah, I've got a lot done, as you can see, all the stitch markers, and then plus these two down here don't have stitch markers, but I did work on them this week. So, and I didn't write down on my fancy Excel chart what these all are, so we're just gonna kind of go, and I'll tell you where I got them. So I guess we'll go, this will start at the bottom. So this I got in the mini exchange set up by, I don't remember who it was. I talked about it like several episodes back, where we each sent each other, it was a podcast. It's totally blanking on me which podcast it is. But anyway, we each sent each other, I think it was 10 gram minis. And so this was, I believe, spun right round in the Walker's colorway. This one is also from that exchange. And this was kind of one of the ones I couldn't quite figure out which. She wrote down all the yarns, but it kind of wasn't obvious which was which, and I couldn't research enough to find out which one this was. So I think this is something about like doctor something or professor somebody. And then we'll go up. This I got in a mini purchase I got from Lorna's Laces. No, Lorna's Laces and Knitting Yarn. Again, I talked about this. I know what yarn this is, I just forget. I got this same one in that same purchase. It was like an Indie Dyer mini skein set, so I think it came with 10, 5, I think it was just 5 grams actually, or maybe, clearly I remember this so well, but I did talk about both those like giveaways and packages on the previous episodes. And then I believe this green was from that exchange as well. Or not exchange, that was a purchase. This is from Tia's Terrific Threads on Etsy. I bought 2 sets of minis from her. I believe this red was from the Indie Dyer set that I got online. This is, I'm pretty sure this one's Lorna's Laces, so I bought 2 mini skein sets from the same Etsy shop. One of them was an Indie Dyer mix, and one of them was Lorna's Laces. I'm pretty sure this is Lorna's Laces. This is from the Indie Dyer mix. This stripe one I got in one I won a giveaway from Robin of the Stitching Between Pages podcast. She included this in her package to me. And then this is the Pipolo Field standard sock in the surprise party for my socks. And then down here, I started it. This is also from my exchange. I forget what this one is. So, anywho, that was a great presentation, Catherine. You can kind of see it's a little bit hard to tell in certain areas because my pattern got messed up, but starting about like here on this dark red one and kind of going to here, I'm trying to do like a light dark sort of theme, but it's a little bit difficult because I don't have light colored minis. So, spoiler alert, that was one of my yarny wishes that was granted, so I'll talk about more about that towards the end, but as you can see, I kind of put a lot of work in on this. It's just a great, great mindless knit, so now that I'm getting my knitting mojo back a little bit, I probably will devote less time to this, but it's a square, it's a blanket for dolls, and it'll just keep getting bigger, so there is that. There's my other project, my Yarn Seller Studio bag. I am pretty sure you've seen this before, because I started working on it in Spain, so fairly confident you all have seen it, but if you haven't, well, it's new. This is the Imagine When pattern by Joji Locatelli, who I know is a super popular designer. This is the first pattern I've knit of hers, and I will definitely knit more. She writes amazing patterns, and they're so well written. I just want to make sure there's nothing. Okay, yeah. This is what it looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the construction of this. Let's see if I can show it in person. So, okay, good. I'm not. So, basically what you do here, and I hope I'm not giving too much of it away. It is a paid-for pattern, but basically you increase like you would a normal shawl for this kind of first section here. It's a little bit hard to see. There we go. So you kind of increase for this first section, and then you do just a series of short row sections. So this variegated short row, this I'm doing stripes, and this I'm in the middle of another variegated short row with the contrasting eyelet rows done in another color. So I just think it's an awesome pattern, and I'm having so much fun knitting it, and I love that with short rows, your rows get shorter. So as you get to this section, instead of getting longer, your rows get shorter, which I love because I'm a product knitter and I like things to be done. So it also grows a little bit slowly because of the whole short row thing, but it looks really, really cool. And so as you can probably tell, the pattern was written for one color of yarn, and I've just decided to kind of make it multicolored. After trying to figure out what I wanted to bring to Spain, I ended up with, I want this pattern, but it calls for 150 grams of yarn. I only had 100 of any solid color, and so I'm like, you know what, I have 150 grams, let me just make it multicolored. So I did kind of color blocks initially, and then this is section 2, this is the variegated section, and then I did stripes, and then you can see what I'm doing here. And then I have one more section. I think I'm going to do it just primarily with the brown. We'll see. So just kind of been a fun project to work on. So the yarns here, the blue is Knit Picks Stroll in the navy colorway. That's not focusing, I'm sorry, but it's navy. It's not variegated or anything at all. And then the brown and the variegated were part of a set from the Underwater Club by Fat Cat Knits, and I've got the second installment here. And so this is Homer and Claude. I believe Homer is the brown and Claude is the variegated, and these were inspired by lobsters. So I think I talked about these on the podcast when I first got them, so nothing really great to say there, but it's really great yarn to work with, and I really like this color. The end shawl is turning out to be very fall-like, so let's see if I can finish it when it's still mostly fall. So there is that. And a few acquisitions to talk about. I guess I'll start here. So I just mentioned that I was part of the Undersea Club. This is the October Club, and these are, I've got Dart and Frond, and I'll kind of pull these up and try to focus them. So Dart was inspired by many rich and colorful fish in the ocean. That's the this variegated one. So lots of pinks and purples and oranges and greens. And then Frond is ocean vegetation like seaweed and algae. So I really love how both times the semi-solid has just been like a direct pull from the variegated, and it's got really cool results. So I'm not sure what I'll do with this pair, but really enjoyed this Undersea Club. I think we've got one more installment. So highly recommend Fat Cat Knits. The clubs are really cool, and she had a ton of options this year. It was like you could get two, I think it was like 150 gram skein or 250 gram skeins. You could pick, do you want both, or do you want just the variegated or the semi-solid, or do you want fiber? Like, there was just a ton of options. So I don't know if she does that twice yearly or yearly. I haven't really researched, but definitely highly recommend it. If you can, it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I think there's one more installment, so really looking forward to getting that third one. And it's cool because it's an Undersea kit, and I haven't gotten any blue. So hopefully my next one will have blue, because I do love me some blue, but it's definitely cool. I love clubs to try to try new things. So yeah, there's that. I guess we'll do an order of things. So I think it was 3 weeks ago now, was the New England Sheep and Wool Festival, which I went to for the second time in a row with my friend who's a crocheter, and I was actually pretty good at that festival. I ended up getting 3 project bags and only 1 skein of yarn. But it was a great day with my friend. We ran into Sue, Knit24 of the Legacy Knits podcast, posted on Instagram that she was super sweet. Kind of accosted her at as she was buying yarn, but she was nice enough to take a picture with me and say hello, and you know, she and I are kind of from the same area of the world, so that was nice. I guess I'll start with my first purchase of the day. This is holding my, I'm not going to show it because it's like half a toe, but my beginning of my aunt's sock. I'll show it next time when it's more things. So this is from Matter Group, and they had some really awesome like printed bags. My friend got one as well, but this has got the rainbow stockinette stitch, which I love, but just a really nice drawstring bag, like linen, good size for socks or a small shawl. Fit in there. And then, of course, I had to visit my favorite bag maker, Stitch by Jessica Lou. This is the third fiber festival that I've gone to, and the third one at which I purchased bags by Stitch by Jessica Lou. But I love all her patterns, and I actually bought another one, which I don't have today, a Hamilton themed bag, which I gave to my mom, who's a huge fan of that show, for her retirement present. And then when I saw this bag, I literally squealed and jumped up and down in the middle of her booth. It's a Dr. Horrible bag, you guys! Dr. Horrible is this web, like 3-part musical that was done by Joss Whedon. It was his brainchild during the writer's strike in like 2006 or 7 or something like that. It stars Nathan Fillion and Neil Patrick Harris, and it's just amazingly hilarious and super nerdy, but like my roommate and I are obsessed with it, and so yeah, that's all these quotes are quotes from that musical, and I love it so much. Like, what a crazy random happenstance, which we just quote all the time, my friend and I. Wow, what a crazy random happenstance. And wow, sarcasm, that's original. And I guess, I actually don't know, is her name, I don't know her real name, and I bought 3 things, I've spoken to her, like, to them. Stitch by Jessica Lou owner, Jessica Lou, is that her actual name? I don't even know. Was telling me that she designed this fabric for her club, which is awesome. So, all into that, got some music note fabric on the middle. Again, half a toe of a sock in here, I'm not even going to bother talking about it. May even restart it, so there's that. And then oh no! Alright, the one skein of yarn that I bought, which just picked up with my toes, probably not a good thing, was from Kama Sutra Fiber Arts. And this is the, I believe it's the Enduring Love base, which is 75 Superwash Merino, 25 nylon. Apparently this is only a 50-gram skein, although it feels bigger. Oh no, this is a 100-gram skein. I see, they were just saying 50-gram skein makes one sock. So, but this is a 100-gram skein in the Raven colorway, which is this beautiful, like, this is so me, just blues and teals, a little bit of purple. So, don't know what I make with this, but that'll be socks, and they'll be awesome. So those are my purchases from the Sheep and Wool Festival. I've got just like one more thing here. So yesterday I had the day off. I have all this week off, actually. Woohoo, Thanksgiving, took it off. And I just impromptu decided to make a day trip to Vermont. There were a couple things I wanted to do in Brattleboro. Really cool town if you're up there. And I just decided to, of course, Googled yarn shops and saw that the Green Mountain Spinnery was about 15 minutes up the road in Putney. So I made a stop there. Alright, sorry, decided to stop recording for some reason. So, Green Mountain Spinnery, I had done no research on about it, so I didn't know what to really think about it. I thought it was just like a normal yarn store, but I walked in and it's a very small store, and they sell no yarn other than yarn that they make. It's awesome. They do everything there. I don't think they have animals on site, but they, like, the woman telling me that they process all the wool, they spin it all there. There was like big like loom machines happening in the room. I don't know what those were for. They dye it all there themselves, I believe. So, really, really cool. So I got 2 skeins of yarn. This is the Weekend wool. It's a 2-ply worsted weight. This is 140 yards. And I got the teal and the fawn colorways. So I'm looking probably to make a color work. I think maybe mitts or a hat, or if I could get both, then both. So we'll see with that. There's those, and then I also picked up just a little keychain needle minder with sheep and the logo. So their website's spinnery.com. Definitely check them out. They had some amazing looking yarns. Pretty much all semi-solid. A few they had a few like variegated sock yarns, but for the most part semi-solid. So just beautiful colors though, just gorgeous saturation. And it's all hand spun. It describes itself as a worker-owned cooperative. So really cool place. Definitely check it out if you're in the area, or check out their website and get something from them. Now I move on to the segment called the Knitting Community is Awesome. So I just wanted to share that I got my Yarny Advent Exchange box. Thanks to Itty Bitty Blue Sky on Instagram for hosting this. I'm looking forward to the point is that you get a mini, 4 minis or 4 gifts for each of the Sundays in Advent, and then a large full skein to open on Christmas Day. So I sent my package off a couple weeks ago, and I got mine in the mail, and I just wanted to share, like, look at this adorable packaging. I'm so excited to open these throughout the course of the next month or so, leading up to Christmas. I cannot believe Christmas is just about a month away. Today's the 22nd, and it means the year's almost over. It's just flown by, but I love Christmas, so looking forward to that. And then it's Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted time. So I kind of mentioned this when I was talking about my blanket, but the knitting community does this fantastic thing every year where basically it's like a gift exchange, and you post, I want these things, and people say, oh yeah, I have that, and then like in return you go and say, okay, I can give you this, and so you basically like send and receive gifts. And it's just amazing that like people who I've never met, and a couple people who grant my wishes don't even follow me on Instagram, but just are like, oh yeah, I have that, or I'll share that with you. So I gifted 3 gifts. I gave away some rainbow yarn, I gave away some minis, and I gave away a gradient set and pattern that went along with it. So just, it's really awesome. And in return, I got 2 people are going to send me light colored minis for my blanket, and 1 person gifted me a pattern, a sweater pattern that I'm excited to look forward, excited to start knitting. So this community is just amazing and fantastic, and I love it so much. So thank you. You know who you are if you granted me my yarn wish, and I hope the people who I sent yarn to, I'm getting those out right after this on my way to my parents' house. Please enjoy the yarn, and I'm really looking forward to getting it. I wish the whole world could be like the knitting community. It's amazing group of people. So thank you very much on that. I think that's it for me today. Life has been a little bit nuts, like I said. I think I mentioned this. I was in a car accident, totally fine, but just had to get a new car and deal with all that jazz that comes on that. And then I was studying hardcore for my second to last CPCU test, which I passed on Saturday. It was one I had failed twice before, so very happy to have passed it. And I have one more in just about 3 weeks, so I'm going to get some studying done on that. But then I'll be done with my 8 tests, which all of you who have been with me from the beginning have seen the whole saga about that. I think I was like 3 or 4 into them when I first started podcasting, and there's 8 total tests, so thanks to anyone who's shown their support for my tests. People have commented, good luck, and almost there. So close, you guys. My goal is to finish it by the end of the year, or my hardly ever set resolutions. My 2016 resolutions were to knit a sweater and to finish my CPCU, and knitting a sweater is not happening, sadly. But CPCU is still possible if I can pass this one on December 11th, so I'll just barely get in there. Ideally I would have finished it in the spring, but that didn't happen, so but still, it can be my one resolution, which I never do. So, there's that. I hope you all are doing well. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving that's coming up. I'll probably be posting this Wednesday, so coming up tomorrow. Hope everyone is spending a good time with family and friends, and eating a lot of good food. Alright, well, I think that is it for me. I hope that wherever you are, you're having a wonderful day and enjoying what you're knitting. I'll talk to you later. Bye.